I'm Dave Mackay.
I'm Diego Varela. How are you doing, Dave, today?
I am well. I'm very excited to continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Learn more about your background, your history. And I think last time we were talking a little bit about history, speaking of. One of the things that, I've always had a challenge with, my wife is in pharmaceutical and the medical device industry, right? In the medical industry in general. And she is fantastic at pushing back on doctors, or at least finding out, going to the doctor. My dad was very much a bit of a hypochondriac. He complained a lot, but wouldn't go to the doctor. And, he did not have very good health throughout his life. And that was really something that I looked at and said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be very proactive and be active in pursuing healthy habits. I have a couple of bad habits too. Well, mostly just one, which is I do like a beer. But if I have an issue, I go to the doctor. And I don't necessarily just stop with what they say. Now, you have been dealing with doctors your whole life since you were born.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to kind of get behind that a little bit and dig in on, how you not only grew up around medical advice, but how you sort of take that advice. And if people sort of learn a little bit how to approach any issue with their health, how you think about it. I think that'd be good.
I think it's a good point because I grew up with a discipline and a mindset where I always had one cardiologist, which was my main doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I follow that person's guidance mostly by the book.
Mm, good.
And I'm not a person that I know about medicine. However, you learn how to listen to your body.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is hard to express. Sometimes it is difficult to find words, especially for me that it's not my English, it's not my first language.
Right.
How to describe how you're feeling. But I always took all the decisions that I made with the doctor and vouched by the doctor, such as start running, increasing the distance, knowing what's the limit on how much I can run with a cardiac condition.
Yeah.
And making a calf to learn how far I could run.
Right.
And the doctor told me that the biggest distance I could run was half a marathon. So that's what I ran.
Mm-hmm.
Not even for training, I ran more than a half marathon.
Right.
That's what I ran. I follow by the book. And but following what the doctor said by the book stopped me of doing things? Not at all. All the contrary, following the advice allowed me to do even more stuff that I would have done without paying attention to the doctor.
Right.
I got, and probably it's not everyone's vision, but I got a massive respect of the doctors. I know that I'm alive. Thank you, them. Not only one, but all the ones that have intervened on my condition among all these years. And I got as a golden rule to follow what they said. And I remember last episode I mentioned that the time was on my side, and that's something that I also discussed with the doctor. It's not something that I just kept for me. And I share that mindset with the doctor. The doctor never is gonna say an opinion on that.
Right.
The doctor will only be limited to suggest if you need to do a surgery or if you need to do transplant, which was my case. And you can ask, how soon should I do it?
Right.
If I'm calling, I'm calling.
Right.
I'm going to say. So I don't want to send the image like I took my own decisions. Every decision that I made was supported by the doctors for the team that they have, and it was a joint decision. What I made for, especially for my health.
Yep.
And for me, it worked. And I got my main doctor, and every time that I need to do something different, I speak with my doctor and just make sure that what I'm doing is it's accordingly with their books.
Okay.
It's nothing brand new.
So that's interesting, because I think obviously your condition is, life or death, right? It's very, very important to get your heart fixed and working. And you were able to sit down and say, when should I do this? And they said, you know what, because medicine is advancing and all the technology is advancing, really, it behooves you to be aware, but also know that new treatments could be coming down the road. I feel that here in the U.S., and this is going to probably cause some trouble, but it does seem that doctors are tend to prescribe quickly or get people the treatment right away. And again, I have a little bit of history with this just from my wife's background in medicine, where, it used to be, and thank goodness they changed it, but there would be a lot of pushing for them to sell the drugs for the doctors to prescribe, and the more prescriptions, and it's there's still an element out there of this, but it's gotten better. I think that my experience here, and I guess my long-winded question is, do you think this was because of the doctors that you had in Argentina mindset versus over here, or was this still the consistent message? And then the second part of that is, do you think it's because it's such an important piece that they were saying, you know what, this is going to be a major surgery, it's kind of life or death, we can wait until the technology is really caught up to what we're trying to achieve?
I'm going to answer first the second one.
Yeah.
The doctors never talk about time and technology.
Okay.
I mean, that's something that's my mindset.
Your thought, okay.
And it became because I work on technology mostly.
Yeah.
So I see the progress that technology does, mostly daily.
Yeah.
And I have to face it at work. And I know that that's something that I just translate that into this field. And I guess, because I'm not part of Philips or any of those companies that actually produce that kind of equipment.
Right.
And it's my thought. And regarding the medicines, it is different here. I noticed that prescribing medicines is more frequent.
Yeah.
But I have to say that I saw that I want to be careful on what I say.
Yeah.
Here, because
I was just thinking
because I saw it, but not exactly with me.
Right.
Because the medicines I was taking when I was previous heart transplant weren't that many, and they were for very specific functionality that I need to improve. And post-transplant, they give you a cocktail that is hardcore.
Yeah, I bet.
It's hardcore.
What's the street value, do you think, of what they give you?
Street value? What street? Depend. But I don't think that you can resell that. I mean, who would buy rejection organ?
It's not there.
I don't know, actually.
You never know. Right nowadays, you never know what's going to be hot in the streets. So.
Yeah, I actually don't know. But so they gave me a lot of medicine there, but like 20 different pills.
Wow.
Like taking pills was part of the agenda of the day.
Mm. Wow.
Like a lot of water I needed to do it. And at the very beginning, they prescribe you some medicines for anxiety.
Okay.
I was very anxious.
Yeah,
in the
I
process.
I bet. I mean, it would be-
Anxiety for sleeping. I couldn't sleep
right.
for many nights at Stanford because you are all connected. You're sore. You got
Yeah.
pain. You can't turn.
Right.
You get things coming out from your chest. You're very uncomfortable.
Ugh. Yeah.
And they gave me medicine for that. But in the meantime that you're recovering, the body's recovering, those medicines stop being well and became being not that well.
So they're making you feel good for a while and making everything work, and the healing process is happening. But eventually, it started to do the opposite.
So I can go and mention. It was hard for me to sleep, so they gave me medicine. So while I was at the hospital, I could sleep a lot of hours, quite good. But then, if you're at home and you start to work, and you're drowsy the whole day, and you need to drive,
yeah,
it's not that good. And so no one from the team takes you that medicine out,
right,
or tells you that medicine, when you are active, it might have second effects.
right.
So it was me just calling and saying, these medicines aren't actually helping me right now. I'm now happy going to dialysis and being having drowsiness, or my blood pressure drops at dialysis, and I can't. So the effect that I was having when I was at my home wasn't totally the one I wanted. But it took me a while to understand that where the medicine, what was causing that.
Right.
Because I thought at the very beginning that it was just like I was. So
then you start to realize
I started realizing that I started having the medicines, and it's probably the medicine.
Yeah.
So I took the decision to stop taking, especially one of those, and I felt better. And everything that it was for anxiety and that it was only for sleeping, I just stopped taking. But you never get the call saying, do you actually need that?
Right.
Because
there's certain doctors that do, which I really respect, is sort of the doctors who say, I remember this happening with my dad. He was on, gosh knows how many pills that he was taking. And then when we came out here, he came out a few years later, and the doctor that he had was sort of like looking at the chemistry and just saying, why are you on these? Why are you on that? So I respect that. But it sounds like you're very self-aware as a patient, and you're listening. You're probably reaching out to your doctor and saying, hey, I'm feeling there are some not great results of me taking these. I would like to stop this.
Yeah.
And you're being very adherent to the rules, which is good. That's always a challenge for everybody. I want to go back to, you said that your doctor said 13's the limit as far as, how far you can run a half marathon, 13.1 miles. How are you feeling there? And the reason I ask this is because if I'm running, and this is really, both of us are passionate about it, so that's why it's topical for this. But if I'm feeling good at 13 miles, I'd like to keep going. And if it's a half marathon, I like to get it to the finish. But if I'm feeling good and I'm training for a marathon, if I'm at 13, I want to keep going and build up that stamina. How are you feeling after 13? And I admire you for stopping, but was it at that where you just gassed anyway, or?
Yeah, but the interesting thing here is the history you have and the history I have.
Yeah.
Because no one in your life has told you you're not going to be able to do sports.
True.
So you never grew up with that limitation.
Well, they saw me play basketball once, and they said, you should never, ever touch a basketball again. But I think that's different.
Yeah, that might be related with your skills, probably.
Yeah, I think that was more in line with that, for sure. Not great at basketball. Really, I mean, I think I could get away with certain sports, but running is really what I want to stay with.
Well, you're not that bad running. I mean,
right.
you finished a marathon the other day, and you were doing a barbecue in the afternoon. I would be dead if I do that.
The doctors recommend after a marathon that you have beers and do a barbecue.
Yeah.
I think that's on there.
Certainly.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'd love to meet those doctors, though. No, so when I grew up, my main doctor always told me that I shouldn't practice professional sport. Like, I could do activity, however, I shouldn't push it. So that's how I grew up.
Right.
And there's a nice story, and it's when previously moving here to US, I met the surgeon that did my surgery when I was 6 years old. And that surgeon, by that time I was running 10K, something like that. Not that much as I used to.
Right.
But I was just kind of getting into. And the surgeon that invented the surgery that did to me said, "What do you mean you're running, Diego? You shouldn't run.
Oh, at all?
You're going to die."
Oh, wow.
So that was his message. So what would you do?
Yeah. Wow.
So I stopped running.
Yeah.
I got into a bit of depression because running actually helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And I got back drinking after that. And when I came here to US, the doctor told me, "Diego, you need to lose some weight.
Oh.
And besides, stop drinking."
Right.
Because one of the side effects of the medicine I was taking was damaging the liver.
Oh.
So drinking doesn't help.
No.
And one of the things I asked to this doctor, because it was my new doctor, "Can I run?"
Right.
And he said, "From the 100% of the patients that we have, 65% do activities.
Okay.
And those, they feel better doing activities." I'm not certain about the math, but it was something ridiculously high.
Right.
So, tried.
Okay.
So I started back up running. And I started running again, first short distances, and then I ran 5K, and then start running back again, and I ran 10K. And after running 10K, I got back to the doctor and said, "I want to run a half marathon.
Yeah.
I like that." And I said, "Okay, let's do a cath." So they basically, what they do is get you numb, not sleeping, numb. And they insert a cath
in your leg.
It's not leg, it's the groin.
The groin, yeah, in your groin. My dad had this for his angioplasty, yeah. So
yeah, but it's a tube that goes from your groin to your heart.
Oof.
And they measure the pressure of the valves.
Okay.
So with that number, they could figure out if I could run the half marathon.
That's amazing.
So I got exposed to that, and they did that, and numbers were well. And so the doctor said, half a marathon, it's fine. Don't push it to the full marathon.
Don't go, yeah.
Don't push it. And so when I finally ran the half marathon, I came from, if you run, you're going to die, from the surgeon to crossing the finish line on a half marathon.
That's awesome.
So do you think I still want more?
No, probably not. Yeah, I guess you're sort of at that point feeling, you know what?
It's about the context.
Yeah, exactly.
The context is very important on this, because for me, the context was, you're not going to be able to near run 100 feet.
Right. Right.
to finish a half marathon. So I didn't need more.
Right.
I didn't need more. But now I can. So that's what I'm going to aim. I'm not going to aim to ultra marathons or something like that. But
So-
yes, I did definitely want to
No.
go to London and Berlin and run there.
Ironman. Are you going to do the Ironmans?
I suck at swimming.
Me too.
Suck
Me
at
too.
swimming.
I'm not good. I just
I
sink.
could do I can do duathlons, but
Yeah.
not Ironman.
I could do a
Because on the
diathlon,
swimming,
too.
I got another issue, and I got dislocated the shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did you do that?
I'm glad you asked. So remember that you play basketball and you suck at it?
Yeah.
The first time I played basketball,
Yeah.
I got the shoulder dislocated trying to mark one of the guys.
So you're also on the same basketball team as me, the one that sits
The
on
handicap
the bench.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Then
and
not-
I got it happened when I was 18 years old,
oh wow,
and I got that and
that
I
was
got
it.
it since, and
Yeah.
I can't get it fixed.
You can't get it fixed.
You probably could right now, but previously they didn't want to get a surgery on me
Right.
because I had my heart
Because your
was
heart.
not working properly, and anesthesia is an issue with cardiac
Oh, I didn't
patients. Yeah, it's an issue. So you need a proper anesthesia to work on that, and no one's gonna get a proper anesthesia just to fix the shoulder.
know that. Right.
The traumatologist told me, so they'll tell me, what do you want to do with that shoulder that you need surgery and put at risk
Yeah.
your life?
Yeah.
You put it that way, I actually don't need anything.
Right.
So got away from here.
Yeah.
And don't come back.
Does it bother you still? Does it hurt or
No, it
is
doesn't
just-
hurt.
No,
It doesn't
as long
hurt.
as you
But
don't play.
I'm limited
Limited on.
on the movement and
Right.
especially the strength I have.
So
my
no
shoulder.
shot put. You're not doing the
What?
2028 shot put in the Olympics. Probably not.
I don't think
No.
that's a good idea.
No. All right.
But
Just check.
it's about the movements. It's not about the strength.
Right.
I got very funny stories here, but actually, I don't know if they're funny. Oh, my people cringe. But I dislocated this shoulder sneezing.
Oh wow. Nice.
I was grabbing the sugar, and I put the hand at the cupboard
Yeah.
and sneezed.
Nice.
And I dislocated the shoulder.
Wow.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I mean, that's all about. I mean, people do that now. As soon as you hit 50, it just, this starts to happen.
I know. Well, the other day, I was to Stanford, and I said I reviewed all the exercises that I'm doing for recovering my legs.
Yeah.
Because they were literally 2 little sticks,
Yeah.
and I asked the doctor, are those the proper exercise that I'm doing? Is
Right.
that the fastest healing that I could get? And he says, he makes an uncomfortable silence. He says, after 40,
Yeah.
10 years ago,
Yeah.
healing muscles is more complicated.
Oh.
So don't think that you're gonna recover as you were 20.
Oh. Yeah.
So he basically told me that I'm very old and don't have massive expectations about my recovery at this age.
Right.
He was very gentle saying that, but I didn't.
That's hilarious.
I wasn't expecting,
Right.
on top of all that shit, that
Yeah.
I'm old.
You're
But
too old. Yeah, that's always nice. No, I think, it's harder now because we're older to kind of recover on stuff. I still feel like I'm 25 and I still act like I'm 10 mentally,
8.
immature, or 8. Luckily, I use the leap year birthday to my advantage, so I'm actually 13. But a very, very rough 13 years. But going out and getting ready for marathons and getting ready to do it. I know you're up right now. I see you almost daily now out there on the treadmill getting ready. Have they said to you now that if you get that mileage up, that you could definitely run a marathon? Is that really a realistic goal?
I asked. This mostly was my first question.
Yeah.
I mean, am I able to run marathons?
Yeah.
And I said, Diego, you have a normal heart.
That's amazing.
You need to train properly,
Yeah.
not to push it, and then you need to get the legs there. But yeah, you can do it.